I'm Tim Bradner. Welcome to Capitol Views, and welcome today to newly elected Representative Rebecca Himschoot of District 2 in Southeast Alaska. Welcome today.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Uh, Rebecca, you live in Sitka, but your district is pretty large in Southeast Alaska. Maybe you could walk us around the district and what communities and what's it like? What's the economy like? And
Sure. Yeah. No, I'm always happy to talk about my district. We gained Yakutat, so my district now runs from Yakutat all the way down to Heidelberg on Prince of Wales. So 100% of my communities are reached only by boat or plane, although if you take a plane or boat to Prince of Wales, you can reach several communities by road on that island. Um, it's a beautiful, I keep calling it the incomparable District 2. Um, so it's Southeast Alaska, islands, ocean, beautiful trees. That's my district.
Uh, I remember going to Sitka years ago to a meeting, and I remember it was such a beautiful community, and the ferry ride was pretty substantial. So your communities are also pretty dependent on the state ferry system.
You've been around a while if you can remember ferries. Yeah, we are very dependent on ferry system. Yep.
Well, thank you. Rebecca, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, your personal background, professional background?
Sure. Yeah. I came to Alaska in 1988, and I'm one of those people who came for the summer and never left. And I think what held me here, the reason that Alaska became my home and that I can't imagine another place for myself, is when I got here, nobody really cared what my hair looked like or what I was wearing, as long as it was extra tufts. Nobody really cared anything about any of that stuff that was important in other places. They cared about whether I could carry the deer down the mountain or clean the fish or um, navigate my boat out to whichever bay we were headed to. And so it seemed like the measure of whether I was worthy was a question of strength. And that resonated with me. And I'm really happy to be what I would call an immigrant Alaskan, because I was strong enough to stay, and I think I'm still strong enough now. But I like that that's kind of the focus of Alaskans, is just how do you do in the outdoors of this state is one measure of success. And that speaks to me. And then right now I'm still a practicing teacher. So I finished up my degree at University of Alaska Southeast, and I have been an elementary teacher in Sitka. I taught actually in a number of different teaching environments. For a while, I taught in an independent school in Hawaii. I also was a National Park Service educator out at Katmai in Southwest Alaska. And now I've been in Sitka since 2004 as a classroom teacher for elementary, for a period of time as an elementary science specialist. And then most recently, I've been working with English language learners in 2nd through 8th grade. So quite a
And
span.
and of course, this year education is a big priority for a lot of legislators. And in terms of the English language teaching that you were doing, what languages were you, what students spoke which languages that you dealt with?
Sure. I think it's valuable first to recognize that over 50% of students recognized as language learners were born in this country. And so in rural Alaska, we have a lot of language learners who are coming from a heritage language. My students are primarily Tagalog speakers, or their families are Tagalog speakers from the Philippines.
So they came to work in the seafood plants and they stayed.
They're an incredible part of our community. Yeah, there are some seafood plant workers, but we also have teachers now who have grown up in Sitka. We have nurses. Um, the Filipino community in Sitka is broad, diverse, and incredibly valuable. Great community partners.
And Rebecca, what issues uh, drew you to run for the legislature? Why did you want to do this?
The motivation started really with my students, where I kind of recognized that no matter what I offered in my classroom, they weren't leaving the public school system into an economy and into a workforce that was as viable as I wanted it to be. So I wanted to make things better for my students and their families, and it just felt like it was time to go bigger than my classroom. So that's why I ran. But the issues that I'm really worried about in my district are the ferries. Of course, there are things we can do to sustain our fisheries that we need to be paying attention to. And then some of the stuff I was just mentioning that I think we can do better in Alaska has to do with uh, sort of partnering with families to make sure that they have the daycare that they need, to make sure that housing is available and affordable. Um, so I want to find the appropriate level of government services that make our state the best state for people to live in, to thrive, to call home, grow up in, and stay in.
You know, daycare, the lack of daycare, childcare is a recurring theme that we've been hearing a lot about this session. What are your thoughts about it? What can be done to provide more care for families working with two working parents?
Such a great question. And don't forget, sometimes those two working parents are working two jobs. And so, what is an appropriate state role is, I think, what we have to grapple with. But we also can't lose sight of the fact that daycare is sort of um, it has benefits in two directions. It frees up caregivers, family members to go to training or to go to work, but it also provides school readiness skills to children. And so, uh, high quality daycare is something that we're going to have to, it's an apple that we're going to have to, I guess, eat one bite at a time. There are lots of ways to look at it and lots of ways to approach it. And I'm hearing a lot of different things in the legislature, all of them worth looking at.
Anything immediately that strikes you as the most doable in the near term?
Um, I think an increased focus on early childhood education for families, where we support families, and there are lots of ways to support families, but most parents are going to be the best caregiver for their children, but they may need a little bit of help to do that.
Well, it's a big issue and a big thing to talk about and to work on for the session. Well, thank you very much, Rebecca, for joining us.
Thanks.
And
Thanks for taking time today. Nice talking with you.